If I may get your attention, thank you so much for joining us again for another very special Hauenstein Center presentation here at the Leadership Academy. And I've got to hand it to Mandy for this one especially, because Mandy organizes so much of the schedule at the Hauenstein Center when we have our speakers come in. And of course she arranged Father Sirico to come in during Holy Week, which is perfect, which means we're going to have confession in 15 minutes, right? Really pleased that Father Sirico has been able to join us in this ongoing series of leaders. One of the reasons that I wanted to have Father Sirico join us is that he has been a leader in a number of areas. He's an ideas guy. He's a leader in the realm of ideas, which may be one of the most important things that we need in this day and age. When so many words are so, we were just talking about the Niagara of words that are spoken that don't necessarily add up to sensible policy or prudent decision making. He's an ideas leader. He's a spiritual mentor, and he's an institution builder. He helped found the Acton Institute just a few blocks from here, and it's made an enormous impact. Here's his background. You know, he has a Master's in Divinity from Catholic University of America, but when he was an undergraduate studying at USC, we'll forgive you for that, USC, and we have some Notre Dame people in here.
Looking better every day compared to Notre Dame. Bring it on.
There we go. Okay, Brian, you bet your challenge. We do have some domers in the room. But he studied at the University of London, and he was aware early on in his education that there needed to be a greater emphasis on personal freedom, the dignity of the human person, awareness of that in the policy-making process. Too often it is lost sight of. And also an appreciation of our traditions that give rise to ordered freedom, what Russell Kirk would call ordered freedom in soul and in society. So Father Sirico was able to bring these together by 1990 when he founded the Acton Institute. For those of you who are familiar with some of our speakers, Rufus Fears, who comes and speaks at the Hauenstein Center, is one of the experts on Lord Acton, so we have a little bit of a connection there going as well. And if you've heard Rufus, then you know that orientation to life. As president of the Acton Institute, Father Sirico has been lecturing at colleges and universities and business organizations throughout the U.S. and abroad. He has quite the travel schedule. He's got all these Rosetta Stone language courses from, I think, all over the world. Also, if you have followed his writings, he is prolific. You'll see his writings in the Wall Street Journal and other major publications in which he weighs in the debates of the day, bringing a perspective that combines the spiritual, the human dignity of the person with a public policy orientation that's very, very much concerned with ordered freedom. You've also seen him on TV, I'm sure, if you've been watching the 24/7 cable news channels. I first met you, I think, in 1994 when you were serving on the Michigan Civil Rights Commission, and I was working for Governor Engler in those days, and that's where we met. And I heard you speak for the first time there, and I was very impressed then. And I know you will be impressed now with what Father Sirico has to say. Please join me in welcoming Father Sirico.
I just want to make sure I don't like to, you put a preacher up here and it can go on forever. I only have one talk. If I were to give it all at once, it would last about 30 hours. So usually what I do is pull pieces out and, when you're used to speaking on different things, you kind of have little formulations. I've watched this as a student of rhetoric. I've always loved rhetoric when I was a kid, even going to different churches. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in an Italian family. But very early on, I would go to different churches, and I loved the Pentecostal churches, not just for the music, but also for their great preaching. And then, of course, later on with regard to politics and stuff. And it's always dangerous for a speaker, who's used to speaking and forgets that you're not giving this 3-hour discourse. So how about if I do this? I don't know what your time frame is, but I'll speak for about 20 minutes. And then we can, really what I'm interested is in a conversation with you. I also need to say right at the outset how honored I am to be participating in an event at the Hauenstein center because of my very high regard for Ralph Hauenstein.